Okay, welcome everyone to today's Kōmiti Hanganga, the Infrastructure and Regulatory Committee meeting. Emergency procedures are on the screen for anyone unfamiliar with them. I'm looking around the room though, and I suspect everyone has seen them many times, so you know what to do. All right, I'd invite you to join me please in karakia timatanga. Whakatakate hau ki te uru, whakatakate hau ki te tonga, kia mā kina ki uta, kia mā tarata kara ki tai. Ihi ake ana te a tākura, he tio, he huka, he hauhu, ti hei mauri ora. Now, I've received an apology from Councillor Tupou, and I move that that be accepted. Could I have a seconder? Councillor Brown, thank you. All those in favour, please say aye. Against? Declare that carried. As far as I'm aware, there's no public comment. So we move to conflict of interest declarations. Anyone need to make a conflict of interest declaration? All right. First item on the agenda is proposed temporary road closure of Cam County for their Port Road Drags. We've got Evandro, welcome Evandro Shearer, Transport Engineering Manager, to highlight to us anything he wants to about this matter.
Kia ora, councillors and members of the committee. I'm here today to request a 3-year approval for the traditional Cam County road closure. The event is managed and funded by a private organizer and has support from the council's transport team. Provided that the event is historical and has low traffic impacts, the request is for an approval for the next 3 years. The day for the events is described in the report, with alternative dates also described. On the day of the event, traffic management setup will start at 5 a.m. The event will run between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. and the roads will reopen to the public by 8 p.m. There will be an active traffic management plan which relates to the Hutt City Wharf Life Replacement Project. Coordination between the event organizer and the replacement projects will occur on the day of the event, and no conflicts are anticipated. There was a consultation with all businesses impacted by the proposal, and all of them were in support of the proposal. And the proposal also had support from Petone and Eastbourne community boards, with approval from both community boards. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thanks, Evandro. Is there anything about the way the event is proposed to be run this year or over the next 3 years? Are you aware of any difference to the way things have happened in the past? Have they made any changes at all?
The road configuration is going to be similar to the previous years, and there's nothing major or significant in terms of changes.
Any further questions, councillors? Okay, we've got a long series of recommendations, 1 through 5 on page 9. I don't intend, 1 through 6 actually, I don't intend reading them all out, but I'm happy to move them. Looking for a seconder. Councillor Stellinger. Anyone wish to make comment? All those in favour, please say aye. Against? Declare that carried. Thanks. Right, we have another motorsport event, the proposed temporary road closure, Hutt Valley Motorsport Club, and it's also on Port Road, and it's for their sprints. Evandro, anything you want to tell us about this?
Sure. This event has similar characteristics to the Cam County paper, with the set dates described in the report. On the day of the event, traffic management setup will start at 5:30 a.m., with the event being between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. Roads will be reopened to the public by 7 p.m. Also, there's going to be a coordination between the Hutt City Wharf Life Replacement Projects and the event organizer. Consultation also was with all impacted businesses, with support of those businesses, and the support from both Petone and Eastbourne community boards. We're not expecting any major impacts, given that's also a historical event.
Thank you. I guess I'll ask the same question. Are you aware of anything that's to be done different this year or over the next 3 years that that hasn't occurred in the past? Is there any big changes?
No, no big changes are expected, similar configuration.
Great. Councillors, any questions? All right, we've got even more recommendations on this one, 1 through 9.
I have a question, Chair.
Oh, go, Tui.
Sorry. It was just in hindsight, actually, both boards have, confirmed these meetings, but just in hindsight for the future, what will happen once the cycleway opens? Because it goes right past this event area. We got plans in place. Are we going to look at that?
We'll coordinate with the event organizers in the following years.
Thank you.
Yeah, good question. Thanks, Deputy Mayor Lewis. Okay, the recommendations are before you, 1 through 9. I'm happy to move them. Is there a seconder? Councillor Barrett, thank you. Any discussion? I'll put those all in favour, please say aye. Against, declare that carried. Bruce, if you could join us, and Hamish Bell, Advisor Water Services, to tell us about this Three Waters update. Is there anything that you want to highlight to us?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Not too much from the report, but we just thought we'd use this opportunity to give you an update on the issue at the Seaview Dry this week. So you'll be aware that the sludge dryer has been taken offline for an urgent repair. My understanding is that it's a bearing on an auger that has failed, and Wellington Port have advised that this repair is likely to take until the end of next week. So this is going to involve sludge, which will be dried by the dryer, to be transported to the Silverstream landfill. It's been confirmed today that the sludge will be unloaded tomorrow afternoon, stored on site at Seaview, and then for deliveries to begin to the landfill on Saturday morning. That was the earliest that could be set up. The sludge will be stored underneath the odour neutraliser and will be well wrapped to reduce the risk of any odour getting out. Wellington Port has been proactively communicating this matter across its channels. They've been door knocking local businesses in Seaview, notifying the Chamber of Commerce and other interested parties as well. You also recall in early August, there was a wastewater overflow into the Hutt River near the Silverstream storage tanks. So this caused untreated wastewater to enter the Hutt River, and the community was advised to avoid swimming, fishing or collecting food from the river or the Territorial Eastbourne beaches in that time. Sampling 2 days following the overflow came back clear and with the normal levels. Wellington Water has advised us that on investigating the blockage, they found that it was caused by garden waste and rubbish that was stuffed down the manhole, which caused it to block and overflow. And then just an update on the water reform that we've put in this report. So the WSDP was submitted to DIA 29th of August. We've also been taking the opportunity to look at our work streams that we've got established to align to the regional establishment project, and we've made some minor tweaks, but nothing too major.
Thanks, Hamish. Councillors, any questions? Councillor Dyer.
Yeah, it's a question regarding the odour sensors that are going in at Seaview. Are they in place yet? The report says they're still underway. Have we got a time frame for when they'll be done?
So there's 2 that have been installed, and the other ones that have been installed around the plant, and the remaining locations have been identified, but they're still ordering the equipment to install them.
That's sort of phase 1. Phase 2 is about like publicly sharing that information. How's that sort of tracking so the community can see those sensors?
I understand that's still the intention to do that. Yeah, there hasn't.
Any idea of timeframes for that?
I'll have to get back to you.
Thank you.
Any further questions? I've got a couple, and I'm sorry, they should normally have been asked at the agenda meeting, but unfortunately I missed that. There's quite a significant capital program underspend, and I'm wondering if we should infer from paragraph 4 that underspend is because we're going out and commercially there's commercial tension now as we seek a better price, so that could be regarded as a positive. But that is quite a significant underspend. Are there other reasons as well, or is it just these delays with going to market?
There's a few reasons. That's one of the reasons for the underspend. There are some contingencies that haven't been used. So, for instance, the contingency for renewing that section of the main pipe underneath State Highway 2. So that was a saving, so to speak. And there have been, I won't say delays, but in terms of what was able to be, well, thought to be able to be delivered in the full year is not going to be able to be, and it's been pushed out. And a lot of that's to do with Seaview and the work that's going on there, just been pushed back slightly. It's just a phasing thing.
Thanks, Bruce. And a positive, I do note that we've got 9.3 kilometres of new pipeline done this year, which is 70% of the region's total. So I think we should be take some pride in that. My other question was to do with paragraph 35 and just seeking an explanation, really. It's noted here that it's going to be quite a coordination effort to get everyone, to get this new Metro Water on the road. And then it says, the focus is on achieving minimum viable product for day one. I was just wondering what that means. It doesn't sound particularly ambitious.
Minimum viable product is having the bare minimum of what is required to operate the new entity from day one. And so what I can do there is we can circulate to you what that includes. So there is a schedule of those things that have been identified as being necessary for being able to operate on day one.
Okay, yeah, thanks. Councillor Mitchell.
Yeah, just coming back to the fact that our city is accountable for 70% of all pipe renewals in the region, and that's not the first year. That pattern's been in place for a while yet. Do we have a feel yet under the new water service entity how long it will take for this to kind of be balanced out and for work to be done more equally across the whole region?
I don't have that answer to you because the new water entity, the new board, will need to make some decisions in that respect once it gets up and running. And the water strategy needs to be put together. So in the WSDP, certainly there's more money going in, but in the first few years, the expectation is what has been put in the LTPs is largely what is in there, with some additions. And, you know, in Wellington's case, a lot of its investment has been around some major items, and that's why it hasn't been able to necessarily get on and do renewals. And you know, for us, the same is happening over the next couple of years in a sense that, you know, we're investing a lot of our money into the Seaview plant.
No further questions. I'll put the recommendation that the committee receives this report and notes the information. Oh, so seconding it. Thank you, Mayor Barry. Comment? Mayor Barry.
Just check, is this the last report you'll be giving to a council committee, Bruce? Oh, wow. It's quite a special occasion then.
The last one of these meetings, but it'll probably come to a council meeting before.
Okay, good, good. I'll save some comments then for that meeting. I suppose I just wanted to reflect on, as the opportunity comes to the close of this triennium, the progress that we've made in the water space. You've obviously talked about the setup of the new regional entity. That's a significant milestone. As we can see here, this year, as you mentioned, Mr. Chair, we've delivered 70% of the pipe renewals that have happened in the wider region. We are, and we have for the last 6 years, led the way in that space. Albeit we know that is not the only measure of what we need to be doing when it comes to our water network and infrastructure, but it is a good measure in regards to how we compare. When we look at the total, particularly over the last 5 years, of 57 kilometres of renewals, that is significant. If you worked that out on the previous, pre-2019 rates that would take just under 30 years to deliver. So quite a significant uplift in renewals that needed to happen, particularly when we started at that deficit of a 270 kilometre backlog in 2019 because of underinvestment that had been occurring for some time. I hope that with the new water entity, we will continue to be able to scale up that investment. We know with the age of our infrastructure, where the condition of our pipe and parts of our city, we simply need to be replacing 30 kilometres a year or we will be going backwards. So that is a constant challenge. But we know that also if we were trying to hit 30, even if the market would allow that to happen, that would be pretty unaffordable, I suspect, when we have to compare that, when we have to balance that with things like Seaview treatment plant and the like. So here's hoping the scale of the new entity and its ability to borrow longer, its balance sheet separation will be able to help with some of those challenges. But of course, we're not the only council within that new entity that will need to be doing those renewals. And I suppose the final comment I would just make, while fixing leaks is not a measure necessarily of success of making good progress on this, to get our backlog down to 78, I think it was that I read, is a pretty outstanding effort from when we declared that backlog, the crackdown on leaks back in February last year. And I just want to acknowledge the team for those efforts. I was always nervous that as we went through those summer months, I think Bruce was always softening me up, saying expect a bit of a spike. You know, it's when we have those summer and people are out there and seeing leaks and the ground dries up. I feel like, you know, we have been tested through that period, and I'm sure there will be some form of a spike, but we're now very much on top of that problem, on the visible leaks, I should say, that we clearly can see we're saving water and we're managing our way through while we do the longer term fix of renewals. So I just wanted to share all of that. I know you've heard that all before, but I think it's important that we do reflect on those successes which have been really driven over this last 3 years. And just want to thank the team and your work that you've obviously done alongside Wellington Water in doing that.
No, that's well worth sharing because I think we should all take some pride in the progress that we've made. So if there's no further comment, I'll put that recommendation. All those in favour, please say aye. Against? Declare that carried. Okay, we're on to page 31 of the agenda now for regulatory matters, and I see we've got Tim Johnson, Head of Planning, Justin Roberts, Head of Environmental Protection, and Richard Barton, Head of Building and Control, who will tell us if there's anything they would like to highlight to us in their report.
No updates from a planning point of view.
From Animal Services, we added in a link to the annual Section 10A dog report, just out of interest.
Cool.
And no further updates from the building perspective. Thank you.
Okay, councillors, who's going to open us up with some questions? Councillor Dyer.
Yeah, kind of like a high-level question. Obviously, we went through a period of time where our consents were going up significantly and the team was scaled up pretty quickly in new investment and technology. The numbers in front of us are kind of alarming that they are kind of going off the cliff. Is there any risk that we've kind of over-resourced the team, or are you comfortable with how the consenting team is now with the numbers in front of us? There's still plenty of work.
I think, I don't want to speak for Tim necessarily, but I'm sure I probably do in that saying that we closely monitor the amount of work that our team do. We've got chargeable time targets and we monitor that closely and we intervene when those aren't being met. So there's a lot of performance management in place across both of our teams. We're confident that our teams are working at capacity. In the building space, we've got some vacancies we haven't been able to recruit for some time, and so some work does go to contractors at this stage because we haven't got a full team. I believe, Tim can probably correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that that most of the work in resource consent has been done in-house and there's no need for contractors, but I'll leave Tim to explain further.
Yeah, I mean, just echoing, actually there's some interesting stats there, like consent numbers were down for last year, but it's also an interesting stat, the number of consents we issued, which was largely the same as the previous year. So I guess workload doesn't tidily fall within 1 year. So in other words, output was a normal year. It definitely was a slower year last year, but we are seeing signs now as the reports indicate that work is slowly picking up. But certainly we are holding vacancies in both the engineering and the resource consents team. But we are looking to recruit some of those positions as workload is increasing, but also holding vacancies while we're not if you like, up to normal numbers.
I can add a further comment on the type of work, typology of work as well, that while consent numbers in the building space have also dropped for a couple of years now, the typology has changed. As you know, we've seen a lot more residential 3, those infill housing developments, and they're a lot more complex, take a lot much more time to process. And we've seen a shift to more commercial in the recent couple of years as well, which are much more complex and take a lot more time. So while the numbers may have dropped, the amount of work has largely stayed the same over that period from a building perspective.
I think it was the last INR meeting we had an update that Objective Build was looking at pulling out of New Zealand. Is there any updates on that? Is there plan B?
Yeah, so they indicated shortly after us signing a contract and going with them, about 12 months or so into that contract, they indicated it was going end of life with no prior notification of that. We are in a procurement process at the moment, so I've got to be careful what I say at this point. We haven't made a decision, but there are 3 providers we're looking at, and I suspect in the next couple of days we will have made a preference in terms of which one to then recommend for a decision. So we've got till the end of June 26 to implement a new system. If we were to go, one of those 3 providers is Objective's new system. If we were to go with them, then they have kindly allowed us to continue in GoGet if they can't service us getting on before that date. But for any other customers that are on the system that aren't going with them, they will lose access to it on the 30th of June.
Councillor Stallinger.
Yeah, hi. I just thinking back to a couple of months ago, I was having a discussion with someone in the commercial development space. Actually, I can't remember exactly who the chap was, but he mentioned a bit of frustration over his consents being outsourced because he preferred dealing with the council staff because it was consistent kind of questions and lines of inquiry. Really, just my question is, do we have the mix of staff that enables us to deal with those complex applications now in-house, or are those the ones we tend to outsource more often?
We do, but again, it comes back to, I guess, a similar thing in terms of the complexity of application, if you like, the experience of the planners. So we have a small number of senior planners, and that is one of the vacant positions at the moment. So sometimes it is the complex ones that do need to be sent out if we don't have the capability to do it in-house. But certainly our preference is to try and keep the complex ones in-house, but it very much is case by case. Yeah.
And from a building perspective, there are 6 categories: residential 1, 2, and 3, commercial 1, 2, and 3. That largely get more complicated and complex as they move through that. We've got 2 vacancies in the senior building area, so we've got a shortfall of internal capability, particularly in that commercial 2, commercial 3 space. So we're recruiting in that space. So a large proportion of those, which are a smaller percentage of the total volume of consents we get in that commercial space, but a large proportion of those, when they do come in, will end up going to contractors at the moment until we can fill those positions.
Thanks. I've got Councillor Mitchell and then Councillor Dyer. Councillor Dyer, then Councillor Mitchell.
Last question on consent. Manor Park is off hold now. What's the time frame for notification of the public notification decision to be made?
So we are working on that notification decision right now. A report has been drafted and it will be peer reviewed, and we have appointed an independent commissioner to actually make that notification decision because of council having a potential conflict of interest with that application, given that Waste Management is a commercial operator. So
The simple answer is we are not far away from having a notification decision made.
Thank you. A few questions from me. Just a quick one to begin with. It's mentioned that Honiana Te Puni Reserve is nearly finished, and once it is finished, it will be open to the public. I just wondered, do we have a date in mind for that, and will there be any kind of opening event, or is it just a soft open until Te Aratupua is finished?
Through the chair, as far as we're aware, it will be towards when Te Aratupua is completed, but we'll find out and update members next week once we can find that information.
Thank you. And just a few questions about the mobile license plate recognition, and thank you for the report on the issues that were experienced in the early stages of it being operationalized, and I believe there was a 6-month trial beforehand. So there's some explanation of some of the issues from March, but was there anything that we kind of overlooked in that 6-month trial with the benefit of hindsight that slipped through and probably shouldn't have?
So with regard to the 6-month trial, a lot of that was to do with mapping out the different areas, making sure that we were capturing vehicles and identifying violations in their correct space. They took quite a bit of tweaking. For example, we created a rule whereby we required 2 sightings because we captured a lot of moving vehicles, which became redundant data and also created false violations because the vehicle was going past, but it was just at such a slow speed, it looked like the system identified that it had parked. So things like that we worked on. Honestly, that first error was purely human error with the misprint. Although I do, in retrospect, I do feel like we could have spent a lot more time with the infringement template and potentially issued it to someone kind of independent and unencumbered by the technical process itself, because I don't think there was a huge appreciation for how a layman might interpret the infringement template. I think that was where a lot of the concern came from, where there were multiple dates, multiple times that appeared on the template, and a lot of people had quite rightly were concerned that, hey, this is from today's date, but the infringement was from 3 weeks ago. How does that match up, and which one should I be concerned about? We've done a lot of work in that space. Even to this day, we're doing continuous improvement, listening to the feedback we're getting because appeals are still coming through as more and more people, become aware of the technology and what it does and ask questions. And we're trying to get more proactive around the comms we put on our website. But obviously, as you can appreciate, not a lot of people actually spend a lot of time on our website unless, necessary sort of thing. They often react and go back and check what does the website say. Oh, there you go. And if there's any further clarification, they email us directly.
Thank you. And there's a passage in there that talks about how AI is used in processing all the data that's received on a daily basis, and that all of the decisions, well, I assume all of the decisions made by AI are reviewed by a human just to make sure they're 100%. Is there a kind of threshold of accuracy we're aiming for, and once we're reassured we meet a certain accuracy with AI, that we can kind of pull the people out and just let the AI, I assume there was always human error in the old system as well, a degree of it, so.
Yeah, I'll give a bit of context because there's a couple of decisions there that need review. When we talk about decisions made by AI, the decision that AI makes is, I have the set of photos, is it or isn't it a violation? Has there been an overstay? Has there been a non-payment? Is it on broken your allowance, et cetera, et cetera? So that's the decision that an officer will review. Beyond that, the officer will also look at the evidence and think, well, if this goes through a court proceedings, how successful would we be? If we've only got 2 photos over a 3-hour span, even though we're quite confident that there was an exceedance, we're not going to push the envelope there. We'll just say, you know what, not worth it, move on. And those are sort of the decisions that are critical from a human assessment perspective.
So over time, the number that are being assessed by a human, it will be a small proportion of the total, or will it continue to be a hands-on process?
It's a bit too early because we weren't sure what the data would look like when we first implemented this technology. From the early signs that we are seeing is that the current complement of staff can't actually cope with the volume of data that needs to be assessed. So we're actually looking to resource up in that space. And a lot of that is prompting a workforce shift. So we've got wardens who know the rules inside and out, and know what the preponderance of evidence is, and we're looking to see if we can shift some of those officers into back office positions, because they're the best ones to be able to understand, is this going to be successful, is it not, kind of thing.
Thank you. And I know it is early days for this new technology. The graph that's included of the total number of parking infringements issued by month certainly seems to indicate, the numbers jump around a bit, but an increase in the number of infringements being recorded and offences being issued. I just wondered maybe when this committee reconvenes under council, if we could have a report that actually breaks down the numbers of offences, but also the revenue being collected, and compares it between officers on the street and what's coming through from this LPR. I think it would be quite interesting for people to see. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Lewis, you've got a question?
Yes, thank you. Thanks, officers. I had two questions. One had to do with the LIMS graph, and I just noticed the pattern there in the LIMS paper. Is that just to do with people selling their houses? And it's sort of in relation to as well to the government, making it compulsory in October that the LIMS will have all the disasters, natural disaster zones on the LIMS. Do you think we're going to get an increase of people wanting LIMS or complaining?
To be honest, sorry, Councillor, I'm not sure if any of us can directly answer that question, given that we didn't provide that information. I can tell you, though, I do know at the moment, if before the regulations changed, we were already including hazard information from the district plan in LIMS. I don't think it's a significant change, the new regulations, because we were already including that information in LIMS. But potentially, let's come back to you if it's all right with an answer once I talk to the LIMS team. Yeah. And
the other one is about the way we're collecting, revenue with the ticketing, just in respect to people with disability tickets. How is that monitored through the system?
So the mobile license plate recognition system is not currently monitoring mobility parking, purely because of the fact that a mobility permit is issued against a person, not the vehicle, whereas parking infringements are against the vehicle, not the person.
So that sort of infringement has to be reported or caught out physically?
Exactly. There are long-term plans to do better integration with the entities that issue those permits, so they can proactively provide them to us. There's always a risk of the vehicles that are associated with the permits being unsold or moved on from the rightful owner of that disability permit, and we'll have to assess the risks and benefits in that space around that sort of thing happening.
Thank you.
Thank you. I got a real quick one for Tim, and asking whether that's a misprint on page 33 when it talks about a 279 lot subdivision off Taita Drive, or?
No, that's correct. That's the area around Avalon Tower, the film studios. So it is already a consented development for around 200 homes, and this is now the unit title subdivision. The reason it's 279 lots is a lot of the lots are not actually houses, they might be car parks or roads, but it is related to around about a 200 unit development, townhouse development around Avalon Studios.
Positive, thank you. And yeah, I've got a one too for Justin, and I'm just making sure that I'm understanding the excellent report correctly, and thank you for bringing it forward so promptly after we had that bit of fracas on Facebook. And that is, I take it from what you're saying that lag time that was 2 weeks and it's now 1 week between you're getting these things out, that there's no longer any chance of someone sort of infringing on a day. It will be no longer than a week before they get that ticket.
So there are a few aspects that are outside of our control. The lag period is to do with when we can assess and then send for printing. In terms of how long it takes for the courier or the postman to get it in the letterbox, that is outside of our control. But as I said, from a data management perspective, we are looking to get better and better as time goes on. Part of that is to do with the system upgrade, which I mentioned, I believe, in that report, and also from a resourcing perspective. Ideally, we want to be doing daily assessments to reduce that right down. The print run will remain the same. We get a differential rate with the bulk print, but obviously, if the volume makes sense on a daily basis, we can start getting better and better, and that's kind of the goal for us right now.
And obviously, the costs of print runs and sending out things like this is on the infringer.
No, that's a cost to business.
Okay, we're looking for savings in future. We might bring that one up again. Any other questions on this report? Okay, the recommendation is that the committee receives and notes the information, which I'm happy to move. Looking for a seconder. Councillor Mitchell, thank you. Anyone wish to make comment? All those in favour, please say aye. Against, declare that carried. The sale and supply of alcohol fees regulations 2013, regulation 19. Welcome, Dean. We have your report. Is there anything that you'd like to highlight to us?
Kia ora, Mr. Chair, and thank you. I have no further updates on the report. This is just an annual report required by regulation. We must post a table of our revenue and expenses of sale and supply of alcohol, revenue and costs annually. So there's the table there that needs to be posted, and also some information around the figures. So happy to take the report as read and answer any questions.
Thank you very much. It's all very clear, and I take it that the fee increases that were approved will get us much closer towards that 90% this financial year.
Dean, have you got your mic on?
Excellent. Further questions?
Dean, have you got your mic on?
Could you just give that answer again, Dean, because Tui missed it. We were talking about getting revenue up to 90% when the fees kick in on July 1, you said? There we go.
Yeah, sorry, the red button was on as well. Yeah, the new fees have kicked in from the 1st of July, and we're already seeing an increase in the year-to-date revenue for that budget line.
Any further questions? Okay, move that the committee approves the publication of a table of income versus expenditure on Council's website showing the alcohol licensing income received from fees payable in relation to and costs incurred in the performance and function of Council's District Licensing Committee under the Act, and the performance of the functions of Council's inspectors under the Act and undertaking enforcement. Looking for a seconder. Councillor Barrett, thank you. Discussion? All those in favour, please say aye. Against, declare that carried. Thanks, Dean. Right, we're on to John's report as Director of Economy and Development. Anything you want to highlight to us, John?
Thank you, Chair. So just a couple of quick updates from when the paper was completed. So there's a couple of dates in here that have shifted, which I'll just talk to briefly. Firstly, the strategic cycleway work that we've been doing will be presented to councillors late this year or early next year. There's a little bit more work to do. It's almost there, but that'll come in the coming months. And then the councillors have asked to be able to provide input into the principal requirements that we need for the CityLink Bridge as part of Te Waitaka Mōri Aotearoa Kairangi. So we are working at the moment. We're working with StopBank designers with Greater Wellington around heights and where exactly stop banks are, etc. So, which will inform some of that CityLink Bridge design work. So once that's completed, we'll be coming back to council to test with you those requirements, what you're looking for in the bridge, etc. That will be this calendar year. So later, probably mid to late November, depending on post-election when the next meetings are. But that is something we will bring because we'll need to go out and procure early next year. The other thing I would note there is in terms of the micromobility projects in Taita and Nainai, there are a couple of issues that have cropped up recently, particularly around parking and some works and timing of works that have been carried out by contractors. So I'm just trying to get to the bottom of that. And I know that some residents have spoken with some elected members. So we'll be updating early next week once we've got to the bottom of that and assessed exactly where we're at. So you can expect an update Monday or at the latest Tuesday next week. Open to any questions.
Councillors, any questions? Councillor Dyer.
Yeah, my question's on the IAF funding on page 59, talks about advance notification provided to residents. Could you just give us an update on how things are tracking with that in terms of the community and the acquisitions and that sort of things?
Through you, Chair. So can't give you the exact progress on all of it, but I understand that a number of the properties, those conversations are going, but as with, there may be a couple where we need further conversations to work through. So we'll be able to provide an update on that in the next couple of weeks as well, once those conversations continue. So as far outside of that, design's continuing, things are progressing to schedule. But it's just, yeah, obviously the properties are sensitive issues, and we need to take our time and make sure that that's done properly.
Any further questions? Councillor Dyer.
Yeah, just on the Riverlink section over the page, it talks about the disruption response plan going public soon. Just wondering if there's a time frame for that.
Through you, Chair. So we have a disruption management group which covers ourselves, Greater Wellington and NZTO. We're actually meeting on that tomorrow, just to look at that. So we're just working on when that will come out and at what stage, because we need to get the community prepared for the changes that are coming at the appropriate times. Some of those changes are still to be locked in exactly. But we're expecting that information to be out there progressively over the next 4 to 6 weeks.
John, I've got a somewhat random question that was put to me when I was out door knocking, actually. Someone had obviously seen that preliminary and pretty design of the new proposed or potential arched bridge, if we go that way. And the person said those wires on an arched bridge like that are a hazard for birds. I hadn't heard that sort of raised before. Is that something we're taking into account?
Thank you, Chair. So I understand the same thing was raised around Silverstream Pipe Bridge as well with those works. So, yeah, I mean, the designers will take into account all sorts of different things as we get further through. So,
as we're aware of that issue, yeah. Any further questions? I think this is another noting report. Yeah, the committee receives and notes the information. Happy to move. Seconder. Councillor Brown, thank you. All those in favour, or discussion? All those in favour, please say aye. Against, declare that carried. Questions? I have received no questions. I'd just like to take the opportunity, since this is the last meeting of infrastructure and regulatory before the election, to sort of thank all the members for the constructive way they've approached some of the things in front of us. We've had a few speed bumps, literally, and raised crossings. But we've got there, and we're all obviously keen to look after the trying to balance safety and moving traffic and all those sorts of things. But I think there's always room for robust debates and questioning like that, so we get to the best place. And I'm just not returning to that discussion we had before. I'm extremely proud of what this committee and this council has achieved in the Three Waters space. It's been a hallmark of your mayoralty, Mayor Barry, and you deserve a lot of kudos for that. Can I thank officers, Alison and John as our directors, but all the staff, Paul, Tim, Richard, Dean, Bruce, all the officers that have given us some very good advice and sort of guided us and answered our questions. So I think we're in a good place as we head into the election. Thank you, everyone.
And also just to say thank you to you, Mr. Chair, for your leadership over the last 3 years, and certainly the 3 years prior to that, and working alongside you as a committee chair. You're someone who has always brought a very fair approach. You've always made sure that you've encouraged discussion. I think of all the councillors, you're the most active listener, I would say, in regards to taking that all on board, but always very clear on the direction that you're wanting to take things as well, which I think has been really helpful over the last 6 years, but in this committee as well. So I just wanted to thank you for that. And I know it's been a hard couple of days, so it's awesome that you were able to make it today as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, that's very kind. All right, let's join for the final time at this committee anyway in karakia whakamutonga. Excuse me. Unahia, unahia, unahia uti uru tapanui. Kia wātia, kia mama, te nākau, te tinana, te wairua i te ara takatū. Koia rā I rongo whakairihia ake ki runga, kia wātia, ai rā, kua wātia, hau pai marere. I declare the meeting closed at 2:30.